Hey, you're listening to the Feather and Bone Podcast. Two witches talking about everything witchy and nothing at all.
Sure.
So today's podcast, I kind of just stumbled upon it and it was just so fucking funny. Both of us, we were like, okay, we have to put it in the podcast. So basically, I found a website of this uber super duper white lighter, to the point where they're going to sell you these magical stones that will protect you against non-white lighters.
We're in trouble.
Yeah. So on the website, they have a few articles and stuff like that. And I didn't write down the website, and I really should have, but I've been doing that a lot lately. So there's one article, and it says, Black Magic, the Secret Everyday Occurrence. So we're going to talk about the white lighter's view of black magic. Sure. And I think it's going to be quite hilarious.
I'm ready.
Hilarious. So he says that in the next few minutes, he's going to attempt to convince you and I that a number of your everyday pain in the necks are not accidental, coincidental, of your own doing.
Sure.
They are, in fact, a manner of negative energy or black magic.
Because, we're not responsible for our own energy or thoughts at all.
Yeah. If your neck's hurting and your back's hurting, has nothing to do with your Serta.
With your what?
Serta, your mattress. I forgot, you use Sealy. Okay. You use Sealy. It has nothing to do with your mattress. Obviously there's a black witch out there, or a black magic witch out there, rather.
Yeah.
Just intent on causing you neck pain and back pain.
People needed to stretch out. Anybody that knows me or is in the group knows that that's something I do all the time.
You do stretch quite a bit. So he says that black magic isn't as far-fetched as you might think. Magic of any nature consists of two ingredients, energy and intention. Well, at least they got that right. He says that Latin chants and magic wands aren't really required.
No shit.
Yeah.
I don't know Latin. If it was a requirement, I'd be screwed.
You know what? Sometimes me just trying to read English words sounds like Latin.
Oh, like the word orchid? You said orchid?
I said orchid. And I was like, wait.
You were so serious.
Yeah, dude. Orchid. And you're like, you mean orchid? So then I was like, well, wait a minute. I said, what's a field of trees called?
You're like, isn't that called an orchid? I'm like, no, it's not.
No. It's an orchard.
An orchard.
Orchard.
Oh, shit.
For some reason, my tongue can't say that word. At all.
See, it's because we just finished that one podcast, and we were talking about all the masturbation.
Yeah.
Demon armies.
Yeah.
You're all fucked up now.
I need to masturbate while thinking of a grammar teacher, English teacher, and then I could have some demons that know how to speak properly.
Sure.
Anyway.
No, if you're demons, you wouldn't let them talk. You just put your finger over their mouth and go, shh, just look pretty.
Yeah. Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
I won't hurt you very much.
Yeah. So he says as long as someone possesses the will to bend energy to his or her whim, magic can be performed. Agreed. That is, so far we're in tune with one another. So the real question he asked, would this magic help others or hurt them?
Well,
both.
It
depends on your intention.
It helped me.
Helps you hurt people. Secondly, he says, perhaps this down-to-earth definition is still outlandish to you. Just a little too silly to be an actual thing. Surely no one is out there actively believing this is real, right?
Sure.
It's in our many TV shows and movies, almost all of them these days, but that's the extent of it. Purely entertainment, right? He says, well, no, not really. It's not just some fancy network feeding you Buffy.
Feeding you Buffy?
Yeah.
Sure, okay.
He says, I understand that the concept of magic might seem cartoonish to some of you, but to many others, it is a basic fact of life. An everyday ordeal, he says. Not just like an occurrence, an ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
They are careful to keep this facet. Oh, there's no you. There's no you.
Oh, shit.
They are careful to keep this facet a secret, amongst themselves, because they work hard for their advancements. To them, only worthy, only those that are worthy should be aware of practicing magic. Now,
what?
Yeah, we have seen that a lot in certain groups. Like that's where the whole
secretive. Did you just say
of,
what I'm thinking you said?
Yeah.
Or am I confused?
What that he thinks that only certain worthy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've seen that. We've seen that's why a lot of traditions are secretive and they don't share their information and they make a big deal about if you leave, we'll curse you if you share this information.
Anybody can do law of attraction.
Yeah.
That's all magic is.
Anybody. You saw a pastor talking about it on TV.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Yesterday.
Fucking Christian man.
Joel Osteen.
Up there like you can make your imagination reality.
Yeah, you can create your own reality as long as you're able to focus your thoughts and control your thoughts. He's like, don't let the negative thoughts in because that'll bring negativity into your life. I'm like, well, no shit. Yes, I was watching a televangelist.
You always do. And I'll tell everybody why she does this. Because your parents are very Christian.
They should have like Christian trophies.
Yeah. And all it takes for you to keep them off your back about not religiously going to church and all of that is just to call and be like, I was watching so-and-so preach on TV today.
Yeah.
This is what I took from that lesson.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And you like to find like the really like crazy out there ones that you can watch.
Oh.
So it's entertaining.
Oh, there's this one that's fun to watch.
Oh, the one from Beckley?
No, not him. Well, he is awesome. I love it when they get out the tambourines and stuff.
Yeah.
But Joseph Prince, he's this Asian dude with an English accent.
Confusing, yes.
He preaches wearing like motorcycle boots. He'll have on these leather pants with the chain hanging off the pocket and leather studded jackets on his shit and this really cool haircut. And
the leather studs, are they in the shape of crosses?
No.
He missed an opportunity.
So, and his audience is huge. Like it's as big as the Joel Osteen. Like
yeah.
It's bigger than our Civic Center.
Yeah.
So, and yesterday he's like, preachers are actually counselors, and we have to counsel.
She says.
We have to counsel our parishioners a lot. He says, now if you're ever sitting there counseling one of your parishioners, and you have the urge to yell out, "You freaking pervert!" You clearly have not been called
yeah.
to be a pastor. So I had to get hold of my mother and be like, so I was watching Joseph Prince today.
Yeah.
And tell her about it.
She's like, you're right. You're right.
So Mom was happy because
you were watching.
I was watching a televangelist.
Yeah. It's funny, he talked about, like you said, he was saying that pastors are counselors.
Uh-huh.
Because remember, I always end up getting my continuing education credits from that church down there in Charleston.
Yeah.
Because they're constantly putting on, trainings that I can, use.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am, steadfast non-Christian.
Yeah, in a church.
In a church.
You pissed them off that one time, though.
I haven't been back to one of theirs since then. Not because I haven't been invited. I just haven't went.
Well, what they were doing, guys, I'm sure she talks about this in another podcast.
Yeah.
But they were talking about, I don't know if it was specifically the Me Too movement, but they were saying whenever a woman says somebody did something, you have to believe them. And you're like, no, people lie.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't like that.
Yeah. I'm like, no, women lie too. Yeah. Actually, we lie pretty good. Yeah. Like, we're pretty good at it.
Sometimes I'm actually disappointed in myself with how well I can just lie.
Just off the tip of your tongue. You're
just
like,
falls right
and
out.
You're like, I don't even know why I'm lying right now.
I'm not that bad.
No. But yeah, they got mad at me. And I'm like, listen, I said, all it takes is for one woman to lie on a man. And even after it is proven that she lied, his reputation's still destroyed.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as how these boys in school, like middle school and high school, will lie on girls saying they slept with them. That girl's reputation's done. Yeah. So it's the same thing. You can do the same thing to a man.
Yeah. So anyway. So he talks about, he goes, as far back as 2011, Wicca has been the fastest growing non-major religion in the United States. That's accurate.
Right.
If you weren't sure, the entirety of Wicca is based on the assumption that magic is the way of the world, and it can be utilized and mastered with diligent practice. Now you gotta remember, he's writing this article from a standpoint of like someone that's brand spanking new to anything magical, mystical, metaphysical. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then he starts talking about Satanism, because those things are so connected.
Which is funny to me because witches don't believe in the devil. Yeah. So. Yeah, you can't believe in one aspect of religion and not the other. Yeah. Like, that's just not how it works. Satanism, another rapidly growing religion, is also fond of its rituals. In this day and age, where a selfish nature is deemed the ultimate cool, their numerous offshoots have found it easier than ever to inflate their ranks. So he's saying that we're basically in a culture today of very selfish people, and that they're drawn to magic because it's a way to get your selfish desires. Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's selfish to want to have nice things. Yeah. Why can't we? See, I don't get it either. Where does it say? Where is it written that we're supposed to suffer our whole lives? Yeah. Well, the Bible. Because it makes you a better person. The Bible is where it's written. Oh. It, like, literally. It's written in the Bible. I'm just saying. You said, where is it written? Somewhere that... like, literally. Somewhere that I can put some credence behind it. Oh, okay. Okay. Then no. You're correct. So then he... Like if it was the Constitution. Yeah. Or something, it'd hold a little more water with me, but...
Prostitution is not okay.
No, not prostitution.
The Constitution of the United States of America.
Oh, I said prostitution.
The foundation for which our freedom was won.
Taxation
without representation.
I said prostitution.
No, Constitution. Jeez. So then he moves on to Freemason.
Prostitution's not okay, Mom.
Yeah. Hey, at least we're teaching her.
STDs.
Yeah. See, we're teaching her the important things in life.
That's right.
Prostitution's bad. STDs are bad. So we got it. So then he moves on to Freemasonry, and I'm not even gonna get started on the whole Gerald Gardner Freemasonry stealing, tied into everything Wicca's. Anyway, that's another podcast.
That was a whole podcast you did.
So he talks about how Freemasonry is more a fraternity than a religion, but it might as well be a religion. He said that these folks are all over the place. So what he's trying to do is he's laying the groundwork of saying that there are all these people that believe in all these ritual practices, and they're all around you.
Ooh.
Okay. He says they're all over the place, with a lodge in nearly every city in the world. He goes, you're likely to know a Mason or two in your life.
Are we?
Yeah. I went to school with a guy named Mason, but he was not a Mason.
My ex-husband joined the Freemasons.
Oh, yeah.
After the Big D.
Yeah.
And I don't mean Dallas.
Yeah. That's a country song.
I think everybody knows that.
There might be some people listening that doesn't realize that that's a country song.
I'm going through the big
Me
D
and don't mean Dallas. Yeah. But he was saying that, like, you know, the Masons are very fond of their rituals and that they prefer to do large ceremonial groups. Okay. Two of the fastest growing religions in the country and the biggest fraternal organization in the world believe in and actively work with forces that they consider to be magical.
Yeah.
He says that, so now he's like, okay, I've got him used to the idea that here in America, they're surrounded by people that are doing magic all the fucking time. Okay.
Sure.
All the fucking time.
Constantly.
So now he's like, we're going to take it global. He says,
It's like Cobra from G.I. Joe.
yeah. He goes, not to mention a majority of China, India, and Africa actively living a life where energy and magic are a basic principle of reality. He goes, but let's keep things simple and focus on the Western slice.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And like, we're heavily making fun of this guy, but like, he did it to himself.
You don't feel bad?
Not at all. In short, far more people than you could ever have expected take magic very seriously and are eager to practice in any way they can. The unfortunate part of all of this, there's no clause that tells.
What?
I'm not sure if that's coming out of my mouth wrong. He wrote it right. I don't know. There's no clause that tells them they have to use these skills for good.
Hey, I tell you what, manifesting this house for myself was fucking great.
Yeah. Now, see, there's some white lighters that would say you took it from somebody else.
Nobody was living here.
that someone else was meant to buy this home, but because you stepped in with magic and bend the universe to your will,
hey,
you left someone homeless.
It's not my fault they don't understand how to manipulate energy.
Right.
That's on them.
Yep.
Not me. I have no guilt.
So, you know, he's saying that, you know, there's nothing out there that's saying that people have to use magic for good. Accurate. That is accurate.
But what each individual deems as good.
Good, yes.
Is completely different.
Like you and I, we often talk about like how people view curse work as bad. We view it as justice.
Yeah.
Like, we're not out there just like, you know, some random guy walking his dog. Be like, you know what? I don't like the look of that motherfucker walking his dog.
I don't like his outfit.
Yes, I'm going to curse him.
No, we're not like walking around cursing people every moon
That
cycle.
motherfucker's dog attacks and kills your dog.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he knew his dog was violent and vicious and still paraded up and down the road. Yeah. I'm getting justice for Fluffy. It's going to happen.
Your dog would be named Fluffy?
No, my dog's name's Nyota.
Does everybody know what that means?
Nyota means star in Swahili.
Yes, it does.
I have a theme with my pets.
That dog likes me.
She does. She likes everybody, though.
Hey!
Oh, I'm sorry. No, she loves you the bestest in the world. Because you bring her food. Accurate.
She slept on me.
She sleeps on me.
But she's your dog.
She's only around you and me.
Shut up!
You're ruining it.
You're ruining it for me. She's like, she gives me her ham off her Egg McMuffin.
Yeah. She brings me chicken treats.
First time she met me, she said,
Yeah.
I smell the treat.
You want to know how, like, dorky I am?
I know how dorky you
Well,
are.
you like, the listening audience, they need to know. So, I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Anything to do with space. Like, love it. Right?
You're Star Trek, I'm Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we've got it all covered.
Yeah. So, my hairless cat is Tepera.
Yeah.
Which is a Vulcan name.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I had Eliana,
Yeah.
who has passed away, but I had Eliana, and that was the name of a Cardassian off of Star Trek.
Oh.
And then I named Cricket, and I was like, you know, she's a werewolf cat. She's of the night. Crickets chirp at night. Her name's Cricket.
Yeah.
I recently discovered
Yeah.
that the phaser used in Star Trek The Next Generation is called a cricket.
You're after Nebula.
Yes, I'm getting a new cat.
Because we know you're going to have another one after Nebula.
I'm getting a new cat. Her name is Nebula.
Can we name it Ponfar?
Ponfar. It should be horny all the time.
Yes.
Pon farts.
No, Ponfar. Ponfarts.
Fast food gives people diabetes.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I'm watching Rick and Morty. Don't judge me.
I saw a thing this morning that talked about how Asians are more prone to diabetes.
Oh my Christ, what's happening to you today?
I don't know. Maybe I had a stroke. I don't know. They're more prone to diabetes, and there's been a study that has linked white rice, to diabetes.
What?
Yeah. I was reading it this morning.
They do, and they do eat a lot of white rice.
Oh, they eat rice at least 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I love rice. I don't eat it 4 times a day.
Well, I'll tell you what, my first mother-in-law is Filipina.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Filipina. She was female.
Yeah.
But that's accurate. She would go up to the military base and get these monstrous bags of rice. And there was rice for days. There was always rice in that rice cooker.
Yeah.
Not normal size rice cooker. I'm
Yeah.
talking like army size.
Like at the buffet.
Yeah, rice
Yeah.
cooker. Yeah. So you're right. They do eat a lot of rice.
I like rice. A lot. Anyway. I don't have diabetes, though. Diabetes. So, but he's saying that, he's kind of painting this picture that there's nothing out there to stop someone from using magic against you. And he's right, there's not.
Well, don't do stupid shit.
He says that, obviously, for the good of their group, sure, they're going to use magic.
Keep talking.
For their benefit, for their family's benefit, yeah, sure, that's
I have
great.
to inspect the tots.
Okay. And then he goes, the rest of us, we're seen as playthings. Their target practice, their food. Okay, I'm pausing that because you got to come back and listen to this. Okay, so she's back. And like I said, I wanted to say this and have you hear it because it's just fucking great.
Okay.
So, he was talking about, using their power for good, like for themselves, their family, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but what about the rest of us? We're seen as their playthings, their target practice, their food.
Hey. Never mind.
We don't
I'm gonna make myself
we don't
look
practice
like a pervert.
magic, but we don't practice magic.
There's somebody I'd like to treat like food.
We don't practice like I said, we're not seeing just random people be like, you know what, I really want to practice this curse. So I'm just going to curse a random person.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening, but he's trying to make it sound like that you're in danger of dark magic around every corner. It's like that campaign, like the Stranger Danger, like where the guy had the trench coat and the hat and he was hiding in the bushes watching your kids.
I just realized something.
Yes.
I know this is completely off topic.
Well, that's kind of what we do around here.
In December, there's a Yule Ball in Morgantown that lasts 2 days. 2 days.
Really?
Yes.
Who puts it on? I think we read about that one last year.
Retro Teak up in Morgantown. There's 709 people that are saying they're interested or going. And it starts on the 21st at 6 p.m. and doesn't end until 11 p.m. on the 22nd.
That's cool.
I think you and I should hop in the car.
Well, but our peeps are supposed to be putting on a Yule Ball on the 21st.
Oh, well, I'll be at that one then.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be alcohol.
Alcohol. Woo, woo. No kids corner here.
And debauchery.
Yeah. We're going to put the Beltane in Yule.
It's going to be like a pagan rave.
Yeah. So we're going to put the Beltane in Yule.
I'm going to feel... You'll have lots of embarrassing videos of me to post.
Oh, yeah. So, but anyway, so he's trying to make it sound like that dark magic and dark practitioners are like so fucking dangerous and just waiting to prey upon you. Okay?
Oh, I'm scary.
Yeah. And he goes, and what's more, it's the most devious sorts that they are the most attracted to they're most attracted to these skills. So
I'm devious.
The power to hurt,
Yes.
to afflict and manipulate others in secret.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, of course they're going to do it. Like that's a very powerful, thing to resist. Mm-hmm. He said that, so you have these groups that are trying to recruit people in. Mm-hmm. So they start telling people like, hey, Like, we'll show you a different side.
Well, here's my thing.
We'll show you the dark side. We have cookies.
What he's saying doesn't make sense. Because.
Does or does not?
Does not.
Okay.
Because if there were these, like, shady people, make them sound like they live in a cave or some shit.
Yeah.
Plotting destruction. And they had access and could, like, tap into this dark power like he's letting on.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be inviting people in to share it. They'd want
No.
to keep it all for themselves.
Yeah, because that's typical of someone that likes power. They don't want to share it.
Right.
You
They
know.
want to be in control.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but okay.
So, but he's saying that you know, people are drawn to that. So it's easy for these groups to recruit more people, so that their numbers far outweigh the people who are on the lighter side of magic. He goes, as a result, there are all manners of people in public who are testing their skills out on you, whether you've given them cause to or not.
Sure.
He goes, I want to take a second and look closely at the following list. Do any of these occurrences happen to you on a continual basis, especially in public?
In public?
Public. So he's saying that if you're in the public...
I think of Ron White, you know, tater salad.
Yeah.
When you go public.
Public. If you're in the public and you have headaches or migraines,
Uh-huh.
strong bouts of anxiety,
Yeah.
panic attacks,
Uh-huh.
sudden dizzy spells,
Yeah.
you see spots or dots of light,
Sounds like you have a migraine issue.
heaviness or pressure on your heart, lethargy or sudden boredom, sudden boredom. I'm just seeing like you're just going along having a fine day. And you're like, oh, I'm so bored. I can't take it. Or you have a sudden or self-conscious or awkward feeling.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Not all, but almost everything he just said describes people that are empaths trying to go out into public.
Yeah.
So you're not being attacked. You just have a spiritual gift.
Yeah. Like when I first started reading through this, I was like, we have to pick it apart.
Because I
We
feel that
have-
way when I go in public.
Yeah.
It's because I'm overwhelmed by everybody else's
Yeah.
energy and emotion.
And it's not like there's somebody in a trench coat hiding behind a bush. like I'm going to practice my curse on her. I'm going to give her the signs and symptoms of a heart attack.
I'm gonna bring on a migraine and make her see spots.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Like all the stuff that he just listed, it could be you getting ready to have a heart attack or a stroke. Like you're just unhealthy. You're not cursed.
Like check your blood pressure.
Yeah. So.
God.
So he's like, think about that. He's like, maybe it'll hit harder with a few common examples. So now he's going to give you some examples of what you might experience.
I'm ready.
He goes, after dealing with or even walking past a particular individual, you find yourself with mysterious anxiety or a headache. That's empathic, like you were talking.
Yeah.
Upon entering a new location or venue, you feel suddenly anxious, sickened, awkward, etc.
That's me every time I go to Walmart.
Well, and like that's just anxiety.
Yeah, I have anxiety problems.
Like everyone in the world with anxiety is not being cursed at this moment.
I've found that a lot of people that have anxiety issues are empaths.
Yeah.
And the anxiety isn't their own emotions. They're feeling everybody else's crap.
I've never experienced anxiety ever until recently.
It sucks.
Yeah, and it was so because like my mom has anxiety. You have anxiety. I've been around it. Like I know what it is, but I've never felt it. And like I even woke up in the middle of the night and thought I was dying. I was like, "This is it. I'm being called home." Like
You're texting me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll leave you a sign.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want you to have my animals. It sucks.
Yeah, it's rough.
So I can understand someone like let's like put it back in like the olden times, and someone started having anxiety, and back in the olden times the community had been pretty small. Okay, so you go out into public, you have an anxiety attack, and Mary is standing there. You don't think anything of it. Well, the next time you're out in public, you're at church because they did a lot of church back then. There's Mary.
They had to do.
Yeah, there's Mary again, and you have a panic attack. So yeah, it makes sense that they'd be like, Mary is a witch and she's cursing me.
You know, people with PTSD have those same issues.
Yeah.
Doing little small things will just bring it on.
Yeah. But I'm like, but I can understand back then. But today, like this guy, he's trying to incite panic.
He is.
And it's like, no, you have a medical condition.
We're like, I laugh in the face of panic.
Yeah. It's like you have a medical condition.
That's why with I do so much more since I'm friends with you.
Yeah.
Because you're so solid that when we go out anywhere,
yeah,
you scare people. And like
yeah.
I know that if anything is making me anxious or is upsetting me, you're there and you will shut people down.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
It's guys, it's great to watch. It's an art form that she has.
Because they don't even realize they're being insulted. Like they almost thank me.
Because I just explode.
Yeah.
But you're able to like tell people off in an educated way.
Yeah.
And make them rethink their life.
Yeah. Like I'll social work the fuck out of you.
It's great.
You know. So anyway, he has another example. He goes, if you engage a particular individual in an argument, you feel a greater sense of panic than you reason you ought to.
Yeah, because they're right and you're wrong.
Well, but I mean, think about even just arguing with someone. Our adrenaline kicks in. Mm-hmm. Again, that's science. That's not you're being cursed. That's science.
You get that hot confrontation. When you have confrontation, you get that hot, sick feeling. You know?
You ever been fighting and it feels like you're not punching hard?
I've had those dreams where I'm trying to fist fight somebody.
Yeah. Well, it's when you're really fighting somebody. You feel like you're not hitting hard. So you used to start hitting harder and harder. And you are beating the dog shit out of them. Because like, it's that adrenaline. You don't realize what's happening. Mm-hmm. So like, it's almost like this person has experienced legit biological functions and is like magic.
except for normal thought process.
Yeah. It's like magic. When you're at work or school and you feel an inescapable weight on your chest.
That's anxiety.
One that you pursue, God, that you assume, is a form of social anxiety, yet you can't figure out the precise cause. You can't figure out anxiety.
But like people with anxiety, like me, people say, just calm down. Just don't worry about it. It's like
thanks, Sharon.
It's like if I knew what was upsetting me, maybe I could calm down. But with anxiety, you don't know what the fuck it is that's making you feel that way.
Yeah. And even, like, let's say that, like you open your door, your front door, and one of your bushes looks kind of like a person for a split second.
Yeah.
You see it and you realize, okay, that's just my bush.
You need to do some landscaping.
I didn't mean it like that. Was not planned at all, but it was fucking great. But even though you realize it's not someone trying to kill you, it's too late. You're already upset. And it's going to take you a bit to come down from that anxiety. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's taking the things that everybody experiences. And it's like, obviously it's magic. He talks about seeing small orbs or porns. What is wrong with me today?
You need to go home and masturbate.
Something. I did.
I
did that yesterday.
Oh, I did it today.
I woke up at 4 this morning and I watched YouTube for a little bit. I read for a little bit. I listened to my audiobook and then I got ready and came over here.
Like when you texted me and I didn't answer right away.
Oh.
I was busy.
I was interrupting your stallion time.
I was dating myself at the moment.
Yeah. What does she call that? The actress from Harry Potter.
Oh, shit. I can't remember now.
I can't remember either. She had come up with some term.
She's not single.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. We'll have to find out. But he talks about seeing orbs or small points of light.
You almost said porn again. Hey guys, if you start seeing porn,
yeah,
You're being attacked.
Or, during or soon after a conversation with a particular individual.
It doesn't
especially
mean you're
around
horny for him.
yeah.
It means you're being attacked.
So, I mean, like, basically, yeah, he's talking about stuff that's just basic biological functions that, could be happening for any number of reasons.
Yeah.
He goes, if any of these sound remotely similar to what you encounter on a typical basis, then I have news for you. You have experienced black magic firsthand.
Sure.
And you know what's great is I know that we have some, I mean, we call them white lighters. We're not using that like as a put down or anything like that. It's just like their belief system is way more positive and higher than what we have.
I'll just say this. There's a lot of people that function better when they put rules over themselves.
Yeah. But even our white lighters that are listening are probably listening to this being like, yeah, they give white lighters this guy gives white lighters a bad name.
Yeah.
He says, for whatever reason, you were chosen to be a target. Why this came to be is sometimes difficult to know. It may be the case that your personality annoys them. Maybe you're a little too happy. Too friendly?
That's you talk to me. You're lately especially.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You're always like, you too goddamn.
You really are. And what's funny is it was like a fucking switch had been flipped in you. Because literally, in the middle of a day, you went from being like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you, fuck everyone, fuck the weather, fuck everything. Like, hate, 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 hate. Nothing's ever going to be the same again. Fuck my life. Fuck you too. And then literally within an hour, happy, bubbling, giggly, and it hasn't stopped. It has not stopped. And I'm just like...
And you keep looking at me like, what's going on? What are you not telling me?
I think that we've been together so long as friends. Because I get seasonal depression.
Yeah.
This is the time of year when I go a little off the deep end. And I think that your body has naturally been like, okay, we have to balance it.
You think that's what it is?
I think it is. It's like I woke up yesterday and realized that my depression had taken over my house. Mm-hmm. And that it was very cluttered and not okay. So I spent the whole day fucking deep cleaning my house, to try to make myself feel better. And even then, like, I'd be like, calm down. Like, you're too happy. Just stop.
Have I really been that much happier lately?
Yeah. Singing songs for no, like you're doing a task. Like, let's just say tater tots. You're putting tater tots in the oven. Put some tater tots on a pan. Gonna put them in the oven fast as I can.
Well, didn't I call you up singing like the other day? Oh. I'm using the bathroom.
Yes. Yes. And I'm like, calm your tits. Calm them. I don't know what's up.
No one will ever know.
So, but yeah. So, maybe. So obviously there's no one out here wanting to do dastardly, magic against you. Because you're still too happy. You're still too friendly.
Hey, you even got a hold of me last night and said you want to go out of the house tomorrow evening. And I'm like, sure.
Yeah. And then
you expected me to say no.
Yeah, well, and it was so funny because you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to. And you're like, wait, you want to go? So if you have too much light in your heart, or you're being just a bit of an ass, just to be noticed, and you're getting, so he's saying like, either you're an asshole, so now they're going to attack you for being an asshole, or you're too happy, so they're going to attack you for being too happy. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He goes, or maybe you've done nothing at all but simply exist. That's enough reason for most magic obsessed folk.
Folk. Oh, magic obsessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're a tool. You're a tool they can sharpen themselves against.
Oh.
Perhaps draw a little energy from, like a battery. To them, there's little reason not to involve themselves with you energetically. If nothing else, they find it fun. So he's painting this picture of dark practitioners. Now, you and I, we don't believe in labeling it dark, light, black, white. Like, we don't. It's just energy.
Here's what I don't get. Like, he's talking like people are walking around fucking Kroger's or Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
Just picking somebody to curse and just, you're cursed.
You know there's no witches walking around a Piggly Wiggly. Kroger's, I'll give you.
Not Piggly Wiggly.
Not the Piggly Wiggly. That's all the way out in Anstead.
But when we curse, we put work into that shit.
We do.
So.
It's not just like on a whim.
I know, because we really build up. We wait till we're like super pissed off and angry and we're really feeling that emotion so we can put all that intention to whatever tool we're using.
Yeah.
I can't see. Well, maybe if I'm in Walmart, I get pretty pissed. Yeah, that's for another podcast.
Yeah. I was like, if you want to talk about it now, we will, but I think you should save it. It's gold.
But I still, even as mad as I get in Walmart, I wouldn't just stand there and start cursing.
Did her tater tots come out?
Yeah.
I'm smelling tater tots.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's like, do you remember the other day in your living room? Like forever, I had to set in the smell of your new tart.
My tart smells fantastic, guys.
before it registered.
Yeah.
It's like the longer I'm around a scent, the more my brain picks it apart.
How long did you have that brain surgery?
Coming up on 3 years.
Didn't she say over time your smell would come back?
Yeah. I can smell tater tots. I thought they were burning. That's why I was like, if I can smell them, they're burning.
I'm just glad because there in the beginning you could only smell funky stuff.
Like gasoline.
Yeah.
Sewage. You know. None of the stuff you'd ever want to smell.
Like,
your brother's ass.
It was great because we'd be working together. I could fart all I wanted in your car. You weren't unaffected.
Didn't know. Like I could legit be standing next to it like a dead skunk and not smell it. Anyway.
It's all coming back.
So he's saying that, while it's great for them, you're likely to find zero fun in this situation.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like many, himself included, it's possible that this sort of harassment has brought you some despair. Partially because it feels intrinsically horrible, but also because you have no idea why it's happening to you. Being privy to Western psychology and medicine, we are told that the cause of our anxious discomfort is purely within our skulls. So now he's going to take a stab at science. He's just going too far.
I got nothing.
He's going to try to say, okay, anyway.
Well, my anxiety is a lot worse when I'm around people.
Yeah.
Because I can feel their energy.
Yeah.
I know what mine is.
Yeah. He goes, it's just an overactive brain making us miserable for no perceptible reason. Science! That's what he said. Science with an exclamation point.
Wow.
Many of us have resorted to taking medications that are rife with side effects and high cost just to make it through the day. After cycling through a few prescriptions for a year or two, some are even lucky enough to find one that only changes their entire personality a little bit. How fortunate. He wrote how fortunate. That wasn't me being a smartass. So basically he's saying that people go through years of messing with their formularies to find the right prescription that's going to handle their very biological responses to their environments. He's like, and you may find one that just has a little bit of a side effect, and you are so fucking fortunate that you're just drooling a little.
Or they could just smoke a joint.
Yeah. He says, he goes, I got very lucky. Before I even went in for an appointment, I come across the basis for, oh God, I'd said this yesterday. What was it?
What?
Ethretics.
Oh, you know how long we were on the phone trying to figure out how to pronounce that shit?
Yeah. He goes, I came across the basis for etheretic technology. Other researchers before me
oh my God,
were talking, ORGONE, Orgon.
I got nothing.
And orgonite devices. I'm sure Ben is listening and he knows exactly what those two fucking things are.
Yeah, Ben's the one in the group that knows everything about everything.
And obscure shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ben, feel free to, after you listen to this podcast,
let us know.
to tell us what the fuck this guy's talking about because he's stupid.
Oh, Ben.
So he's talking about taking, these devices, this organite, I don't know if that's how you say it, and programming the resin itself and worrying less about exotic additives or symbology, massive increases in power and complexity could be achieved.
What?
He's saying that when you program those like organite, which is a resin, I'm assuming, that you program it, and now you're going to worry less by programming it. You'll worry less about exotic additives, which would be like the pharmaceuticals that he was talking about, or symbology, like looking for like signs and everything. And massive increases in power and complexity can be achieved.
Do you know what lunacy am I listening to right now?
Well, and it's, I'm like, because at one point you were like, I want you to stop telling me about it so that I have better reactions in the podcast, and we'll get there.
This is lunacy.
It is. It
Okay.
is. And we're going to get to like his whole point behind all of this.
Like, I'm concerned. I think his family needs to get a mental hygiene done.
Yeah. So he says that he spent months and years. And that's the order he chose to put it. Months and years.
Okay.
He learned two very important concepts.
Yeah.
The first was to identify when my surroundings and those in it were the cause of his ill feelings. He said this made it far easier when he was handling his... I always have to stop because it's not spelled at all like he says to pronounce it. Ethret. When handling his ethret.
You know, okay, off topic. You know what this reminds me of? Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, you and I did a podcast where you were reading another article or something, where they were talking about how to identify someone in your coven that was mentally unstable.
Oh, yeah. This guy's...
Well, I made fun of the article at the time, but goddamn.
Yeah.
I think they were on to something.
This guy is completely unstable.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
So he says that the energy, because, you know, he's programmed the resin to give off a distinctively positive energy 24/7, that it's a simple matter to contrast it to those who harbor strong negative energy. So what he's saying is, like, because you have this resin now, I'm going to stop trying to call it what he calls it, because I have to stop and like make my brain think to say ethret, because it's spelled Aether, but it's athletics.
I don't know.
Anyway, so the resin.
I wonder if he made that up. He's like, it's a threat. I know. Athletics.
Yeah.
Make it sound cool.
No, spell it weird, because bitches love things spelled weird.
You know what? He's probably a virgin. He hasn't had anybody even look at his Peter in the history of his life. And he has too much time on his hands.
Seems legit.
Why this happened. Somebody needs to have sex with this guy.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that he learned. Okay.
Oh.
That was the first, because remember he said there were two things. The second concept went further still. He learned numerous ways to use this technology to push back against those ill feelings, to wipe the slate clean, and revert the way he felt to calm, confident, entirely more pleasant state.
You know what he could use to feel that way? Therapy.
Yes. But that, you know, that too is magic.
Oh, okay.
Because science is magic.
Mm.
This process is often as simple as holding a piece of the resin, no matter how small, and allowing the energy to spread throughout my body, or his body. It naturally clears up excess anxious energy and reverts negative energy to a naturally positive state. It also takes a minute or two, giving you the proper breathing and focus.
I got nothing, man.
So he's saying he's like, okay, it could take it could take a minute or two, if you use the proper breathing and focus.
Imagine him during sex. This might take a minute or two.
Yeah, we're like, it better take more than 2.
We got to get the proper breathing technique
Yeah.
going.
He goes, it could take a little longer if you don't use the proper breathing and focus.
You'd be like, don't breathe at all, bitch.
He-
Hold your breath.
He says nowadays my public anxiety is close to non-existent. With only the littlest bit of the resin on him, he can rid himself of a dizzying array of negative, anxious, and or sickening feelings. So you know what he's done.
Tell me.
And it's actually a therapy technique that he would have learned if he had went to therapy.
I was going to say he started jerking off before he left the house.
No. It's I forget what it's called, but I want to say transference, but that's not what it is. It's basically where you use something to keep your mind focused on the here and now and not the anxiety. An example of it is to put a rubber band around your wrist. Mm-hmm. And anytime that you start feeling like you're going to have an episode of anxiety or whatever, you start flicking that rubber band. And what you do is you focus on the feel of it against your skin, the sound that it makes, and then that pulls you away from the anxiety. So what he's doing is he has this piece of resin, kind of like a worry stone, really, if you think about it. And anytime he feels that way, he starts, holding and touching that resin.
You know how I use EFT tapping?
Yeah.
For that. It has really improved my quality of life greatly. But I could see him doing EFT tapping to change his amygdala's fight or flight response. He'd be tapping on himself going, I am uncursable.
Yeah.
I am uncursable.
I am made of light.
Oh, God.
So he's saying he's doing pretty goddamn good. And he says, none of this would have been possible if I hadn't considered the thought that these feelings could be energetic in origin, and that the more annoying ones could very well be caused by others. So there's a little bit of paranoia in there too. He's certifiable.
He reminds me of a person that I quit talking to.
Yeah.
And you know who I mean.
I do, and I'm so glad you stopped.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said if you desire to give this path a try, he would recommend that you grab yourself a sample of this resin. He will give you a free sample for $5 something in shipping.
Oh.
If you absolutely cannot afford the shipping, send him a private message, and if the situation warrants it, he will send it to you for nothing. But he also has pieces of this resin that he sells on the website shaped as things like skulls and cubes and spheres and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
So you wanted to know why, what's his driving force behind this?
Uh-huh.
It's to sell his little fucking chunks of resin. He's wanting to get all these gullible people who are having really bad anxiety and problems being in public and say, obviously you're being attacked because I too was attacked. But I have this magical stone. It's a sorcerer's stone, if you will.
I know somebody with magical stones.
Really? So he uses the last part of this part of the this part of the article to tell you how to get some of this this resin from him. Okay. And
you gonna order some?
Fuck no. So now he's like, okay, so you've gotten some resin off of me. You either got the free sample, which is probably leftover chunks that he couldn't get to mold right. But you had to pay $5 something shipping for this little chunk. So now, how do you best a witch? He goes into how to best a witch. He goes, there's never been a better time to be a bad witch.
Oh.
It's never been more desired nor as culturally accepted to be a bad witch.
Sure.
As a result, they are feeling quite brazen. How could they not?
He sounds like one of those preachers from like
Yeah.
the 1700s or
Yeah.
some shit.
You, me, and everyone else has been besieged by alluring and downright sexy portrayals of bleak magic. Harry Potter
Oh, wow.
serves as a perfect introduction. It made the idea of learning magic with a secretive group an enchanting prospect. Every child who soaked the books in desired above all else a reality that could compare. The trend continued. More and more media arrives in perfect timing to best capture our attention at every age. If I had to choose another, an easy one is Fantastic Beasts.
That's a good movie.
It's Harry Potter, but darker and less friendly.
What? No, it's not.
Harry Potter wasn't
Light
and fluffy and
did he actually watch the fucking movie?
we're like, you don't even have to read the book. Like you can watch the movie.
Harry Potter's, those movies are just like one fucked up thing.
Yeah, it gets worse every
after
year.
Another for that kid.
Yeah.
And then if you notice, the weather even gets worse continually.
Yeah.
Throughout his life.
Yeah. I think this is like the point where you cut me off last night and you're like, stop. Because I was like, listen. I was like, the first year is the only book in that whole series where you're like, this might be a happy time.
You might have seen a smile or two in the movie.
Yeah.
Like when Hagrid put the pigtail on the kid.
Yeah.
That was a happy moment.
Yeah. You know, at the end of that movie, the end of that book, he's happy. He has his friends for the first time in his life. He knows
he's not sleeping under the stairs.
Yeah, he knows he's going to come back to Hogwarts next year. He just has to get through the summer with the Dursleys. Life is looking up for Harry. You know, that second book comes and just boom.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse, Harry. Your friends, like, Ron's going to betray you at one point and, like, turn his back on you and not believe you and, like...
And then what happens to, like, somebody snuck and put his name in the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah. Tries to kill you. Lord Voldemort everywhere.
Voldemort, cutting
his
arm. I mean, it was just bad. Ron finds out his pet rat's secretly been that wizard the whole time.
But Fantastic Beasts, that's the dark one. So anyway, he says that Fantastic Beasts is Harry Potter, but darker and less friendly.
I'll tell you what.
And he says, how better to capture the attention of adults who loved the series as a kid?
I'll tell you what. My daughter now has the hots for Johnny Depp.
Yeah. It took a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's 14 now.
Yeah.
The old hormones.
I'm telling you.
Kicking in, but...
You know, when I was younger, I would watch The Labyrinth with David Bowie.
I don't care what anybody says. For some reason, he was hot in that movie.
I know. And that's like when I still look at it today and I'm like, yeah, he was hot. But like my thought of him being hot when I was a kid compared to today is different. Like today I'm like, he looked kind of old.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I was like, ugh.
You're like, ugh.
Like, anyway.
You remind me of the babe.
Yeah. What babe?
Babe with the power.
What power?
Power of the hoodoo.
Oh, the power of voodoo.
Voodoo.
Hoodoo? You do. Do what?
Remind me of the babe.
All right.
We have problems.
We do.
We've spent too much time together.
So then he goes on and talks about the Vampire Diaries and how it's a popular TV show.
I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't either. He said that it went ahead and made darker sorts of magic sexy to the teenage crowd.
It's hard for me. I tried to start watching the first episode, but after True Blood and reading the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter stuff,
Yeah.
those are pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to go into that.
Teenager type.
Yeah.
The Originals, a spin-off of the previous show,
that's
did
a
it
good
a
show.
second time.
That's a good show.
Just to make sure the message stuck.
I liked Klaus, the evil one.
I haven't watched any of it.
What?
The extreme end of this scale has more perverse shows, such as American Horror Story and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Sabrina's a good show.
You're like, all of the shows that he's saying is evil, I really like them.
Sabrina is good. Like, they straight up worship the devil.
Are you a dark witch?
Well, yeah. I don't believe in the devil.
Me too.
But so, if that's even a thing, dark witch.
No.
But anyway, they straight up worship the devil, right? They have this full fucking sized goat man that's the devil.
You know they got sued over that?
Why?
You talking about like it's a statue, right?
No.
Oh, it's like a real dude?
Yeah.
Well, in the first season, they actually had been sued. Remember there was like a statue that was like a goat guy?
Yeah.
They were sued over that.
Why?
By the actual Satan church.
Why? They don't even worship Satan.
Well, but they have a statue very similar to that one in their church. And it's a like protected work of art, and they didn't have right to reproduce it.
Huh.
Yeah, they got sued.
Well, that goat-headed satanic dude thing, pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I've got to get you to watch that. I know you're thinking it's a kid's show.
No, I'm not. No, that's not at all what it is. I just have this issue with starting new shows.
Remember what happened to you when I made you watch Game of Thrones?
I could have killed you.
You went into a bottomless Game of Thrones pit.
Yeah. If I was home, that's all I was doing.
Like, you watched nothing. You did nothing but watch Game of Thrones for, what, a week and a half?
Yeah.
And finished all, like, 6 years worth?
Yeah. Accurate. Like, I can't do anything. Like, I would even, like, go as far as to, like, stop it, start it on my phone so I could go shit and continue watching the show. And then, like, if I was cleaning house, I had it on the windowsill in the kitchen while I'm doing dishes, so I could watch it while doing dishes.
I remember how I got you to watch it. Because I hounded you for a long time.
Yeah.
A couple years. And you refused. Finally, I'm like, it shows Jason Momoa having sex. And you're like, wait, what?
I'm like,
Why didn't
this
you
is
tell me
happening.
this sooner?
And you failed to mention that, like, he's killed out pretty quick.
You didn't need to know that.
Yeah. Anyway. He goes, these go further than, he's talking about all of the, like the more hardcore shows like American Horror Story and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. He goes, these go further than all the rest because at this point the subject matter is not just functional magic. It's magic that primarily hurts, manipulates, and parasite? What?
Parasitical?
Well, it's Parasitizes.
Parasitizes? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's saying it's parasitic.
Basically what he's saying is, and then he follows up, is like, it ain't no Wingardium Leviosa.
Wow.
But let's just be honest. None of this amounts to anything, for magic does not exist. That's the typical outlook, right? There's no such thing as magic. No such thing as witches, right?
Sure.
You can tell he's being like, you know.
You know what's another good show? That I was... You know how you and I will get really into a show and then when it ends we're like depressed?
Yeah.
Penny Dreadful.
I never watched that either. Mom loves it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I loved that show.
Mom loved it.
Was she depressed?
I don't know. Mom's always a little depressed. Well, I'm always a little depressed too. Like, it's just how we are.
I know why your mom's depressed.
It's just how we are.
I know why she's depressed. She lives in Burgoo.
This is true. He says, you're free to believe whatever you will. However, many an organization, order, sect, cult, and club think otherwise. Satanism and Wicca, the fastest growing non-major religion in America, they are quite fond of their rituals.
You know, people really should. I know it's very taboo and it scares people. People really should actually look up what Satanists believe.
Yeah.
It is not what people think it is.
Yeah.
Not even remotely.
Yeah. So he goes on here and he kind of talks about the Freemasons again, and I'm not going to get into that again. So basically he's kind of repeating the same stuff from earlier where he talked about Wiccans and Satanism and Freemasonry and everything. And he's like, my point is, magic is more prevalent in your world than you could have ever imagined. Now he does put in here one real quick line, and he goes, please note, witches are not inherently bad. You have your dark witches, and you have your white witches. So that was his one little caveat in there that's like, they're not all bad. But then he jumps right back into the doom and gloom. He says, the thing is, the darker sorts are much, much more aggressive in their recruiting, with the aforementioned media conditioning us, their job is effortless.
Well, shit, then I can't be classified as a dark witch because I'm always like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around anybody.
The only recruiting you'll see for good witches is, well, himself. He says, he says, like, I'm the only one that's going to try to recruit and make everybody good.
Really?
Yeah. He goes, there's a few smaller groups who desire to clear, this reality's muck. He goes, but they're not all that common. He goes, if we're comparing numbers, it amounts to a single drop in the bucket. As it stands today, millions of aspiring dark witches are in your schools, your workplace, your malls, bars, and clubs. That's right, millions with an M.
He said millions with an M.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
So, you think about it, like, a lot of the stuff that he's, like, maybe billions with a B. I don't know. But you think about what he's doing. He's trying to incite panic. Like, that's what he's trying to make you think.
He's trying to make you feel the way he feels.
Yeah.
Because he clearly has a chemical fucked upness going on.
And he says that if you're not with all of these millions of witches, if you're not with them, you're likely their food. Tired of being food? His resin is your way out.
By my rock.
His resin is your way out. That's what he says, is your way out. Hop on board, shake up society a little, or at the very least, take a quick look around, read a little. An informed public is an empowered public. And an empowered public is the key to real change.
Where'd you find this shit?
I just stumbled across it.
I think I'm dumber now.
Yeah. So basically, and the reason we're making fun of it, and we're making light of it.
Dude, get professional help.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's clearly something else going on.
But he's trying to, and I'm going to stop there. Like, there's more, but I don't think we need to go into any more. He's basically, he has a very real, like, mental, psychological condition.
Clearly.
And he's like, okay.
He's watched too much TV.
He really has. He's watched too many shows. He's read too many books. He's believing the stuff that he's seeing on TV. And so now he has to justify, like, if other people feel the way he feels, then he's no longer crazy.
Yeah.
And why not try to make a buck off of it at the same time? So now he's trying to sell. And, it's kind of funny that he's using, like, there's only one point in there where he refers to his stone as resin. And it's kind of funny that this is all coming out when, like, resin crafts is, like, a huge, like, thing.
Yeah.
Like, you see videos all over the internet on how to use resin to create jewelry, and, like, they'll pour it on top of wood for tabletops and everything. So it's like this dude just bought some resin.
Yeah.
And now he's like, okay, I need to, like, make some money off of it or something.
Magical resin.
Yeah. He puts his intent into it.
Oh.
He programs it because it's a technology.
Ah.
There's nothing technological about it, but it's a technology.
Sure.
But this kind of stuff is what upsets me because, like, we have enough of the regular sane magic community who try to draw that line between dark and light magic,
Yeah.
To have this person who has no fucking understanding whatsoever about witchcraft and like none.
Yeah.
And he's going to come out here and he's going to try to convince people that don't believe in magic that there are these legions of dark practitioners out there. So, I mean, we did make a lot of fun at the article, but, like, I think it's kind of serious too.
He needs help.
Yeah, he really does.
That's, I don't know.
Like,
honestly, you said legions of dark practitioners coming together. The pagans that I all know couldn't get along well enough.
Yeah.
For long enough.
Yeah.
To form together.
It would all fall apart.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Because all of us have our own ideas.
Yeah.
Every pagan is different. It's not like Christianity.
Yeah.
And so Nobody wants to conform. That's one of the reasons they're
Well,
pagan.
and this is like his whole spiel and like his whole website. It's very clear that it is geared toward people that are not practicing pagans.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's pretty clear from the get-go.
Yeah.
And the fact that he keeps lumping Wicca and Satanism together.
Not even remotely
Not
close.
not even closely, you know.
No.
But you know, like my concern is like this guy is the one that would kill his neighbor because he thinks they're putting spells on him.
Satanists honestly are all about, hey, you live your best life.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Go have fun.
They're libertarians.
Yeah. They're
Isn't that basically libertarians? They're like, do whatever you want as long as it doesn't infringe upon the rights of another person.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like, there's nothing wrong. Like, if you like sex, go have sex. You like it. If you are happy you're not having sex, then don't go out and have sex. They're just very empowering.
Yeah.
They're not actually worshiping the devil.
Yeah. No, I know, like, I'm very loosely paraphrasing because I know shit about it. Mm-hmm. But, like, I know that I've read somewhere before that, like, there's a whole section of their quote-unquote Bible or their commandments or whatever that talks
tenets or whatever.
Yeah, that talk about the proper treatment of women.
Yeah. They really value and respect women.
And they're like, no, you don't get to have sex with her just because you want to.
Yeah.
Like, no, just because you're married doesn't mean that she has to, you know, listen to everything you're saying.
Yeah.
You know. So, I don't know. This guy, I mean, we made fun of the article, but I think it's scary in another sense that, you know, there's someone out there with that clear of a mental issue.
Well, I'm hoping he doesn't live on the East Coast.
He's from California.
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, he's from California. So, but yeah, I mean that. So you know, we did make fun of it, but I think it is a little serious.
Can I say my mom real quick?
Can you steal me?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap it up right now.
Oh.
We're at the end. I'll be right there.
So anyway, you've been listening to the Feather and Bone podcast.
Feather and Bone.
Two dark witches lurking around every corner, ready to make your life a living hell.
Don't run into me in Walmart.
Yeah.
Come on. Can I be a part of this?
Sure.
Can I suck people's souls?
Well, we are supposed to teach the next generation.
Oh, nice.
So.
I want to suck people's souls. That'll be great.
So you can find us on the internet at featherandbone.net. That's featherandbone.net. .net. There you can find links to the Facebook group and a bunch of other really cool stuff. So go check it out. And remember, it's magic, motherfuckers.